Also, a secondary effect to secondary in response to the girls have got to get their grades. They got to be academically fit and sound before they can play on the school teams. And the moment a coach sees them and acknowledges that the girl has talent, they're going to be interested in bringing them along to their program, whether it's major Division I, mid-level Division I, II, III, or even the JCs, the junior colleges. But women on par do a better job in the classroom than guys do. It's tough for guys to say that and swallow that, but it's a fact. So the women athletes usually concentrate on their grades, they usually focus on the sport, and they usually get the job done.
If I had a young daughter, what do you think, as far as seeing it played at such a high level, would be the best formula to take as far as developing the student athlete and being female?
Well, that's a great question. First of all, I think you should get your daughter, anybody would get their daughter involved in as many sports as possible, where she could be exposed to golf, volleyball, tennis, lacrosse, basketball. And between you looking at her and a well-rounded coach looking at her, you can discern what sport is her best sport, softball, etc. So if you say basketball is her sport, you want to focus on getting her to camps that are individual camps, where they work with players individually, not just go to a camp where there's 511 kids, if I may use that term. And she's just one of so many that they paid money and they're just throwing the ball out there and the kids go play. You want your kid to go to some place where they're going to be developing skills. Every day for an hour, she's learning a different skill. And then the next day, they'll go back and see what the player did in terms of practicing those skills. Next thing would be to have them in a camp that has some academics in it, not just the round ball, no matter what sport, but the round ball. When they come home, you ensure that your kid has a place to practice. You go to practice with them. You play the game with them. Or if you put them on a team, you film them and you break it down for them and work with them, developing your daughter. I think regardless of height, weight, size, if you do that, you can turn an average young lady into a superior athlete.
One of the most important questions I want to ask, as far as you being a player, then one of the great officials around, tell me a little bit about what advice you can give about team etiquette as far as the player and the coach to be a better citizen as far as competition-wise.
Okay. I think the very first thing is coaches and players need to realize, number one, you can't coach, play, and referee at the same time. You have to choose one or the other. If you're a player, you need to focus on what the defense is giving you and what you can take away from the other team, not worrying about the officiating. If you're a coach, you need to worry about strategy. Find the other team weaknesses. Find out what you can exploit in them and teach your team and make adjustments in the game. Don't referee. If you're a referee, female or male, focus on the game. Focus on, if you were a player, do you think you'd go one-on-one? Focus when a team is a high passing team, highly rated on passing. Move your body in a position that you know there's going to be 3 or 5 passes. Think like a player. Think like a guard. Think like a big person in the post. It makes you a better referee. If you do that, the etiquette part will come. If an official blows a call, you can understand that because they're human like you are. And you may say to the ref, I think you missed that one. As long as you're not trying to embarrass the official, as long as the official don't try to embarrass the coach, because the coach may express an opinion, which they are right to have their opinion, on your call. They think you may have missed a call. Don't get upset. Just say, Coach, I cannot allow you to call the game tonight. Don't make it personal, okay? Because now you're taking your mind off of refereeing and you're trying to coach. Or if a player criticizes you, You're now going to take your mind off of refereeing and say something to the player about his or her shot or pass. In other words, I'm getting back to the initial point. You can't referee, play, or coach in the same game at the same time. If you show respect to all parties involved, people will respect you. It's that easy. And that would be the answer to that question. I could add, for example, if you referee, you're gatekeepers of the game. You must be above reproach. There can't be anything suspect about you. If you're a coach, you got to remain a teacher, a mentor, the whole time you're coaching the game. You have to set an example. If you're a player, you can't be hot-headed. You cannot show the kind of emotion that will have a coach or coaches get up and walk out of the gym.
That's great. That's right at the end of the table.
Okay.
Excellent.